Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging. Because I am FDR and I'm logging. I'm actually not FDR, I'm Jordan, but I have taken upon the name FDR because that's what everybody seems to call me. But I'm actually Jordan. I guess we'll just take on the persona that of the FDR. So today, subject of the day. Today we're going to delve into consoles. We're going to have this discussion. So I realized I've probably said this stuff a million times, but basically what I'm doing right now is I'm compiling a bunch of these videos, and I plan to use these videos because I've answered the questions thoroughly in like an FAQ page on my website. That is the future plan that I'm slowly building to. So I'm hopefully going to have that all set up here soon. So then I'll be able to just be like, oh, hey, at the FAQ, point to this video while we talk about whatever the subject is that the question answers in the FAQ. So while I'm discussing this, I'm going to be processing this pile here, all the longs that we want to get rid of. So that's what we're going to be working on here on the side. So console. We are going to talk about console, and I'm going to be repeating myself greatly because I've had this discussion multiple times. So I'm sure you guys have heard all the reasons and all of that fun stuff already. So we're just going to reiterate. So the big question is, Jordan, Mr. FDR Logging, why are your mods not on consoles? Why? The bleeding question that I get all the time, 24/7, emailed, commented, all the time. So why are my mods not on console? So there's a few reasons, and I'm going to go over them here. I'm going to keep these ugly logs aside here because they're just ugly. So let's go with, I'm not sure what order to do them in. Let's do number one. And this isn't like the number one reason, but this is just number one on the list. So weights is a big one. So weights has always been an issue. So in the past, I've had extremely heavy weights on the machines. I'm sure lots of you were privy to that. I used to have these machines 10 times heavier, and the logs were 10 times heavier to get a more realistic physics feeling. So weights was a big issue for a very, very long time. It is no longer an issue because I've actually brought the weights down to the tree weights are back to stock Giants weights, so they are back in the regular norm. Now the machines themselves are actually still quite excessively heavier than, say, the in-game machines, and the reason for that is to make it realistic, because the in-game machines are not weighted realistically to the weights of the trees. They are way too buoyant, way too bouncy. It is not realistic. And coming from me, I've actually run, lots of people know this, but if you don't, I've run all of this equipment in real life. So I know exactly how it feels and how it should feel. And if you weight even this machine that I'm using right now, if you put it to Giant stock weights of how their machines are, it flops around like it's full of feathers. It's not realistic at all. There is no realism whatsoever in that. So the stock in-game Giants weights on these machines is not accurate to reality, at least for logging. I don't really know the farming side. Maybe they're realistic over there. I kind of doubt it, but weights is a big one. It's always been an issue. So due to the excessive extra weight that is on my FDR logging machines, even now, my maps are now stock Giants weights so that they'll work with Giants machines, so keep that side of the world happy. But the machines themselves, unlike the maps, are much heavier. So weights are a big issue because on console, if I want to get my mods passed to console, I have to be able to have them hauled by in-game equipment. So in-game trailers have to be able to haul them. They have to play nice with the in-game stuff. And because mine are heavier, they guaranteed would not pass that side of the spectrum. Excuse me. So number one is weights, or number one on the list. Number two, this is a really important one for me. You guys on console do not have the proper controllers for operating this equipment. Yes, you have Xbox controllers. Yes, you have PlayStation controllers, but you cannot use joysticks. At least nothing that is consumer easy access, you can't use joysticks. Like I said, I've seen a few guys use like pens that are duct taped, or pens or sticks that are duct taped to their oh, I don't want that tree in there, that are duct taped to their joysticks, so that they kind of act like standing joysticks, but they're really not. So not having the ability for you guys to control the machines using joysticks like real life hinders a lot of the experience. That being said, I understand a lot of people can't afford it to get the joysticks, so that hinders the experience. But that is just part of the hardcore sacrifice of, if you really want to do this stuff, the joysticks are definitely where it's at if you want to be a good operator. Like I said, I've seen lots of people play with Xbox controllers that do just okay, and some that were actually pretty good considering, but there's no way they can match the efficiency of somebody using 2 joysticks that has experience on them. It's just not possible, because the buttons just don't work the way that they do the same. So, number 2, joysticks. Having the same controls, having the ability to have access to the controllers that make this experience so awesome for logging and realistic. So that's a reason why I won't bring it to console. Number 2. Number 3. Well, let's go. Okay, we'll do number 3. It kind of follows suit with the same concept. So lots of third-party scripting. This one isn't so much an issue anymore because I don't really use a lot of third-party scripting. This processor head has a third-party script on it that allows you to delimb. So when I'm just rolling the tree, it delimbs. That was a script that the guy that made the wood harvester mod built for me. So I hired him to build that, and he made that little script, and we attached it to there, and it works fantastically. But because of that third-party script, I would not be able to get that onto console because it's not a supported in-game script that we're using. We're using a third-party script. Now, I've heard some people saying you can get that stuff passed, so I'm not going to go hard on that point because I may actually be incorrect on that. But last time I checked, and last time most of the modders were working, you could not use third-party scripts due to Microsoft and PlayStation. I think it was mostly Microsoft Xbox stuff being a limitation for security reasons and privacy reasons, or whatever the case. So that's reason number, what did I say, 3? I'm going to lose track of these numbers as we go. Reason number 4. Okay, this is a big one for me. This is a huge one for me as a modder. It's the timeline and the submission table. So if I want to put a mod on console, I have to submit it to Giant's team to review the mod and critique it and go over it and find out if it's actually worthy enough to be on console. So it means it has to be error-free, it has to conform to God knows all kinds of things that they have. And I mean, I've been through the process. I have submitted stuff to console a long time ago. Mithras Catalyst is a really good friend of mine, and he worked with me on getting maps. He also made tons of really great maps himself and put them on console. So he was a big advocate in getting stuff on console, and without him, I wouldn't have done it at all. And even he had his struggles going through it, and he had a pretty good relationship with the Giants team there. But it is a big process going through it. Maybe it isn't anymore. Apparently, it's a lot easier than it used to be. But to get your mods on ModHub, they have to pass that process of going through the grinder, basically, of Giants and approving it. So me as a modder, I don't like it. And not just for the approval side. I'm all for error checking and making sure it's a working mod for the people. I'm all about that. The problem I have is you don't have a guaranteed release date. I can't say, hey guys, I'm really excited to bring you this mod on October 31st. It's coming out. It's going to be the best thing you ever saw. You're going to love it. I do not have that ability because I have to wait for approval, and then it just kind of comes out when it comes out, which is super annoying for me as a modder. These trees are going to lay really weird here. I was trying to lay them over this pile, but maybe I'll out of my head a little more here. I think I'm going to end up chucking these down the hill anyway. So as a modder, I want to be able to control my mods. I am the owner, the business owner of this business called FDR Logging, and I need to be able to stick to my release dates and stick to my plans and have a schedule. And if I'm waiting for other people to approve of stuff or not approve of stuff and kick back my release dates all the time, I'm just creating way more conflict than I need. I really don't need that. Right now, the mods are only available on console, which is fine by me. They are also only available on my website to download, which is also fine by me because it works just as good as anywhere else. I realize a lot of people want to use Mod Hub, so I guess this can be kind of a Mod Hub slash console argument here, but I don't use Mod Hub and I don't use console mods just for that particular reason of me not really caring. I like to have my own schedule. I like to have my own control of my mods, my web page, all of that stuff I like to have under my own control. And I don't like having to appeal to a third-party system to get access or change things with my mods. I think it's really not really for me. And it's been working fantastically. You know, I've actually done stats on it. I mean, my best month, I think I had 8,000 downloads of just the mod files alone, which is pretty. It doesn't sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but that's a lot of freaking mod downloads, man. Like that's really good. I mean, my average is about 5,300 to 6,000 downloads a month on those mods, all ad free. You go to some mod sites to download stuff, and you get all the ads and all that stuff. So, yeah, all ad free, all good times. But anyway, not to go too off my point here. So those are the biggest, I'd say those are the main biggest reasons why I don't bring it to console. There's also performance, right? Lack of performance. On console, you are limited by, now again, I'm not very versed in console, so I'm not going to get too crazy with the what I think I know and what I don't know stuff. But from what I've heard, there's mod slots and that kind of stuff that limits players from being able to have a certain amount of mods. There's also graphical limitations. Obviously, the consoles can't put out the same amount of beefy power in a lot of cases that a PC can. PCs have a lot more money invested in them in a lot of cases. And they're dedicated gaming units, so they have, you know, better processors, better graphics cards, and you can upgrade them. I mean, you could turn this into a console versus PC argument all you want. I own consoles. I play on consoles. I own my PC, and I play on my PC. My wife has a console. She plays on console. I got nothing against the concept of consoles. I've been playing those since the Super Nintendo came out. Like, I have a very heavily amount of time invested in video games and consoles and the whole world, and I have nothing but support for video games. But for this specific game, I do not recommend consoles, and I don't tailor to consoles with my mods because I can't give people on console the same experience I'm giving people on PC. It's fundamentally not possible. Both due to controls, both due to mods, both due to limitations, So it's a long list of stuff, but that is the reasons why I don't go to console. And I get it constantly from people saying, oh, you're just lazy, or you don't know how, and You get it all. And no, we've done it. We've brought mods to console. It's nothing to do with laziness. It's nothing to do with not knowing how. I mean, honestly, now I probably wouldn't know how because I haven't been involved in the process. I would have to start all over again. But I always tell people my whole reason for doing FDR logging is to give that really sick, sweet, real life, or as close to real life as possible, logging experience. And I can't do it on console. I just can't. And it sucks because I have all these wonderful sponsors. Like, you can go to my website and see my list of people, like companies I'm working with, and the list is growing daily. I still have communication with more people that's coming here soon. So, like, I would love nothing more than to be able to put those mods into the hands of console players like I would. But I'm not going to do it at the cost of degrading the experience for players. I can't do it. I can't do it, and I won't do it. It's just not it's not worth it. And yes, we can do it. I can make dumbed down versions of all these machines, I'm sure, and go through the grueling process of dealing with mod testers from Giants, and like I've done it. I've been through it, and I did not enjoy the process. It was not fun for me. It made me actually kind of hate modding a little bit, because it was like submitting my homework to my teacher and getting him to mark it beforehand, and I'm just like, ugh. No, I love FDR logging because I control it. It's my little baby, and I can make it go in whatever direction I need to make results that not only I like, but that the fans like. If I start conforming, I call it conforming. If I start conforming to just what everyone else is doing, then I'm just going to be like everybody else, and my mods will start to suck because I won't be able to. I'll be limited. I won't be able to put in the extra stuff that I do with the physics and all the rest of it, and it'll fall apart. I know it will, because I went down that road and watched it fall apart slowly, and then I finally pulled the plug and said, nope, we're not doing this, because it's wrecking the whole business model of what we're trying to do. Oh, not even a business model, community model, really, because if it was about business, we'd be out of business by now. If FDR logging was for financial gain, I'd tell you this company would have been fired off the books a long time ago. No, but yeah, it's important to me to have it run the way it does, because it's producing good results, and I know it is. I don't need to have anybody tell me it is, because I can see it's working, and I know people like it. And yes, I would love to be able to offer it to everybody everywhere and give all the good stuff like the console players and the mod hub people, if the process was more in my control as a modder. But I also understand, I get it. Giants has to protect their end too. They want to make sure it's to a certain code of their standards, or whatever they consider their standards. And I have my own book of standards that I consider are mine. And I don't feel those programs or console or any of those mod hub stuff align with my standards. So, how they say it's better to just say nothing at all than say something mean, right? So I just go, yeah, you guys do you, I'm doing me, and I'm loving the way it's going. Everything's great. Could it be more? If I were to conform, here you go. If I were to conform, I'm calling it conforming. If I were to conform to the system, is my head not chewing up the ground? Oh, there it is. Okay. If I were to conform to the system, say we, made mods for console all of a sudden, and we said, FDR is going strictly to console, well, not strictly to console as well, but I have to deliver a second special set of mods for console. Not only would that ruin, in my opinion, it would ruin the whole image of what I am making, like for the dynamics and the physics and all that stuff. It would ruin that, because that's what I'm all about, is making a good experience for the actual logging. But it would also take time away from me making the other stuff. If I'm sitting there working on trying to make a second version of every machine and dumb it down enough so that it'll hopefully pass on console, and going back and forth and trying to appease the testing gods to make sure it passes, all that time wasted, I could have been producing more machines, more testing, more physics, more maps, more whatever for the PC version. So why the heck would I waste my time with that? I don't know. Anyway, that's my opinion. That's the joy of life, is we all get our own opinions. But my company, my choice. That's the way it comes down to in the end. But I just wanted to give you guys some insight. It's not a I hate consoles. I mean, I do hate that this game has conformed to console, but I don't hate console players. I don't hate consoles. I think they're fantastic for what they are. But I don't think this game belongs there, in my opinion. And that's just probably me being in this game for way too long. If you're new to the game and you're playing on console, good for you. I'm glad you're part of the community. I feel console, based on my logging community and the feedback that I've gotten, console is like the gateway drug to getting people onto logging on PC. I even have close friends in this town that play this game, and they're like, yeah, I started on console, but I realized how much it sucked and I wanted your mods. And I said, cool. So then they bought a PC. They went out and, I mean, you can get a half-decent PC for almost the cost of a console nowadays anyway, or pretty close anyway. I won't exaggerate that. PCs are definitely more expensive, but and now those people play the game with their PCs, and they're like, yeah, it was fun on console to get involved, but like it was kind of more like the starting steps, and now they're in it, right? So that's why I say the console is kind of the gateway drug. So if you want to look at it from a marketing business strategic point of view, consoles are great for getting the awareness of this game out. And then once they grow out of the console phase, realizing they can't do a lot of stuff that PC players can, they go, oh, dang, I'm going to get buy a PC now because I want to be cool like the cool kids. And that may come off as rude or crappy. And whatever. It's the truth, though. So, as much as I don't like that console is such a heavy thing of this game, I guess marketing-wise, it made our community bigger in one way or another. So, I don't know. It's one of those, like, bittersweet kind of things. But from a developer point of view, like looking at the development team for this game, as I've mentioned in other videos, I do not like where the game is going. I do not like where things are heading for Farming Simulator. We're taking away the core dynamics of the game, and we're selling them out for really frivolous, I don't even know what to call it, like gimmicky, I guess, carnival-y kind of, 2-second blah things that aren't really to the core dynamics of the game. But anyway, I've had videos where I've talked about that, and I don't really care if I come off sounding kind of like a jerk, because a lot of us have a lot invested in this game and time, and people just say, well, just stop playing the game then if you don't like it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, absolutely, we all could, or just like a good democracy of people, we can recommend stuff. I've had it happen to me, right? I would like Giants to come out and say, like, screw all you guys, we're going to do what we're going to do. If you don't like it, don't play it. And I'd be like, you know what? I can respect that. But trying to sell something as something that it isn't, that kind of drives me a little crazy. I've had that happen to me even with FDR Logging, right? I've taken FDR Logging in so many different directions in the past, like 9 years of its existence, or 8 years, or whatever it's been. And I've had fans basically outwardly revolt things that I've done, and I've changed direction. Some things that they haven't liked, I said, screw you, I'm doing it anyway. But there's lots of things people were like, don't ever do that again, you're ruining your mods. And I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll take that feedback. Because it is good to have some polarity in your direction of where you're heading. And I think the comments from fans and the feedback, as long as it's constructive feedback, it's really good to help you grow as an artist or a developer, right? If it's not constructive, if you're just being a hating troll and just saying you suck, that doesn't help anybody, right? So that's why when I try to criticize even the development of this game, I understand as a smaller version of a developer myself that you have ways that you're going, and sometimes it's not going to be the way everybody else wants. But anyway, like I said, you guys can go watch the other videos that I've created on the subject if you really want to get into that. I have a few talking about the downfalls of development in games and such. But yeah, so anyway, we kind of detered off the path of the conversation there, but consoles was the key concept that we were talking about, and those are the reasons majoritively, I don't even know if that's a word. English isn't my specialty, grammar and English. Those are the major reasons why I don't go to console. There's probably even more that I've failed to list, but those are the ones that automatically ring a bell in my head in terms of why I wouldn't try it again or why I'm not interested. I always say you never know. In the future, maybe something will change. Maybe they'll make it, aggressively easier to get your mods on console, or you know, if they cared enough, maybe assign a developer guy from the company to come work with you to develop that stuff or something, you know. But me stepping out against it myself and trying to get it, I just don't care enough to go after it. I don't care enough about it. But you never know. You never know. Maybe one day I'll wake up and I'll change my mind and I'll say, hey, you know what, guys? Today we're going to console. I really doubt that. If I could find a way to make these machines at least equivalently good on console, or slightly equivalently good on console, I would probably make an attempt. Because now I have the relationships with these companies, like the sponsors I have, right? All the people that make a lot of the machines that we're playing with right now. I have a great relationship with them, and I have no issue, or I'm sure I would have no issue getting those brands brought to the farming simulator community, just based on the relationships I've made with, you know, CEOs of companies and marketing teams and all that different fun stuff. Because they're all really great guys. All the companies I've dealt with, all the sponsors listed on that website. I won't go into like details of our conversations or anything, but very awesome, really good people. Part of all loggers, part of the logging community, logging guys, and it's been a real blast working with all of them. So I'm sure, and I know they want to see stuff on console as bad as all of you. But I've had the conversation with them and I've showed them, you know, exactly what the issues are, and I've showed them, and I said, you know, we won't be able to have this, we won't be able to have this, and your machine will just kind of be gimmickly on console. It won't really be part of the console world, I guess you could say. I don't know. It'll be on console, but it won't be not part of the console world, part of the logging world in terms of people actually operating and enjoying the experience like they do on PC. Anyways, it's an interesting subject, and I'm sure you guys will have lots of comments on this video. But like I said, I am planning to try to make this video and others into an FAQ-related page on my website. So if you have any questions, that kind of stuff, there'll be an FAQ box there that you can all go to, and then just click on the links. It'll say, you know, if you have a question, I'll highlight it. You click on the question, it takes you to the video, to the exact moment where I start talking about it, and then that would just save us a lot of effort, I think. So that will be coming. This video will be part of it, as you will see in future times. All right, sweet. So we nailed that out. Now our next question is how we're going to get this down the hill. Do we want to walk around with a processor, process it in place, or do we want to drag it down to this landing? I think all options are terrible, so let's clear those stumps first. So we got this. The next video I do, it's going to be a forwarder tips and tricks video. We're going to go over some forwarding stuff. Again, I don't really know what I'm going to do here. I might process it. In place. You know what? We'll figure that out next time. I'm not going to think about it too hard. I'm going to leave the video here. We're a teeny bit short of our regular time, but not by much. So I'm just going to leave it here. But I hope that answered a lot of your guys' questions about console. I know I've had this discussion with you guys multiple times before in lots of other videos, but now here's one official shoot to it video. You never know what the future is going to bring us. Maybe something will change. But for now, that's solidly the opinion it has been for the last several years. You never know. All right, guys. We'll leave it at that. We'll catch you in the next one. See ya.